Hi there everyone, welcome back to my channel. And this week I went a little bit crazy over in the raised veggie garden area with my secateurs. I really hacked back a few plants, even pulling some out, but now I have some room over there to sow some seeds and seedlings this weekend. Also, I've had a bit of an issue in the garden with something coming in and ripping some plants out, hacking them apart. And you know what, since I recorded the video you're about to see, I think I've figured out who it's been. I've noticed there's more cockatoos in my garden eating the oranges, and when I went to have a little look around after they flew away, I noticed that my primulas, you know those ones in the 3 containers, well, they've been ripped out of the containers. And then they've also hacked the top off my purple sprouting broccoli. I think I had shown you that a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying I'm so close to being able to harvest from it. Now I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, but I will leave that in the ground and hopefully it will come back. Also in this week's video, I'll show you 2 more upcycle projects. One of them I haven't finished off completely, that's the old locker. But another one, it's probably one of my favourite upcycle projects I've done. An old rocker, which is actually a caterpillar, and I've cut the top out of that and put a planter in it. So if you just wait around to the end of the video, you'll be able to see that. I think it's just really lovely, and I'm excited to see the flowers fill out the container in a few months. And I'll also harvest my first watermelon radish. I won't say too much, but the results have been quite surprising. And we'll take a look at some lovely peas, Shiras peas, which aren't quite ready to harvest, but I reckon by next week I'll be able to pick some. So that's what's in this week's video, plus a few more extras. So let's just sit back and relax, and I'll show you around now. It's a bit chilly, it's early morning, the sun hasn't come up yet, and I'm just over here by the raised veggie garden area. This is a good example to show you what kind of frosts we get. You can see, some of you are probably laughing thinking, that's ridiculously mild, and it is. Like, you can see a little bit over there on the ground, and you can see some of the plants here have like drooped a little bit, but that's probably the extent of the frost that we get. This area in my garden would get the worst frost because it's most exposed. And we're over here because I wanted to show you what I've been up to this week. I was a bit rootless the other night, a spur of the moment type thing, and I came out here and I just hacked back some plants. So that's the pineapple sage, and I cut it back. It wasn't looking very good, and I really did need to clear some room in here to put in some more plants before I put in my summer crops like my eggplants and capsicums. And while I was clearing here, I noticed that a lot of my calendulas were looking a bit sickly, so I ended up pulling them out. So if you remember, there was lots of calendula in here, there was radishes. I've got rid of them all, and you can see that very light frost. So what I'm probably going to do is put some quick growing crops in here. I'll probably put some radishes, some of that bok choy seedlings that I have in the greenhouse. So I've topped it up with a bit of the compost, and it's all ready for planting. I'll probably get on top of that now the next couple of days. So I'm just standing at the other entryway into the veggie patch, and you can see everything's not looking great. This is the Johnny Jump violas. The leaves are slightly, no, I wouldn't say completely frozen, but they're quite cold, but that will actually bounce back. It's so hardy. And here's, oh, that's frozen. Oh, it's cold. I don't think I'll be touching them. That's the rainbow chard. Okay, so over this way, I realised the other day that I hadn't shown you my little containers in quite a while. You probably might even remember what I put in them, but I put some carrots in this one here, some purple radishes, and that one there was baby beets, and I just wanted to give you an update on them. I think something got into this carrot container because there's a big patch there of emptiness. It was probably a bird or something, but it's more, I'm doing this more so just to see how they grow. I'll put the name up on the screen of this variety of carrots. The radishes won't be long until I'm harvesting them, and the beets look pretty dismal. I might just move these into a more full sun area rather than here. Underneath the orange tree, I saw some cockatoos here the other day, but they grab the oranges on top, so, and they tend to leave all of these ones alone. The nasturtiums are doing well. I think the shade of the tree is really helping them survive through the mild frosts that we get. And around this way you can see there that I've been doing some edging. I'll move out here. Oh, I'm ducking under. You can see I love doing edging. It's so satisfying. Just really defines the garden much more. I've been so patient with these poppies. I just hope they flower soon. And I also in here have some forget-me-nots. They're biannual. I'm not really sure if they'll flower this year. I might have to wait until next year. I think gardening really teaches you to be patient. Well, I think for me, probably having kids taught me to be patient, and then that's how I became a better gardener for sure. Last week I had a bit of an issue over in this section. So remember I had all the curly kale and the chard? Well, that's all gone now because some animal came in here and just like dug it up. Oh, let me go up and show you these. Here are the cockatoos. They come every single morning. There's like hundreds of them. So they roost over in the local park that has lots of gum trees, and then they end up coming over to this area because my neighbour's house is a huge gum tree, and they seem to, I don't know, it's their morning wake up. They come and they fly over here before most people get up. I love coming out here. This is one of the advantages of getting up early, you get to see them. Okay, so back to this area. Yeah, I came out and all my plants were like just ripped up. Well, it wasn't all of them because I plant everything so densely. It's not that obvious. I guess it was all in this section here. Remember I did a little harvest from the last week, and I do have 2 of the rainbow chards that might come back. So let's just wait and see what happens, but that's life, isn't it? Okay, and over this area, past all these gorgeous wattle trees, the sun's just rising there now. You can see all the flowers are starting to come out. They're so pretty. So a couple of weeks ago I spoke to you about my plans for this section, and I've actually, oh, there's more of the cockatoos. I've made a start on it. So I said that I was going to do long beds in here, 5 long beds. 3 of them are going to be tomatoes and 2 of them are going to be cut flowers, and I've actually started. So what I've done is, for the rows I put down cardboard and mulch, and then for the actual beds I've dug up the grass, put some compost in there, and that's some hay. And the hope is, I had mentioned months ago that I was going to put loads of fruit trees in here, or maybe even do some kind of food forest. But for the moment, for this year, I'll have the tomatoes and the flowers, and even the pathways, having the cardboard and the mulch there, that will break down and feed the soil, and gradually over the years it probably will change into a different area. And here you can see I put up some chicken wire. So the chicken coop's just over there. The chickens, we have 3 chickens, so they still have lots of room. And I've included the orange tree in their section, in their run, so that they have some nice shade. They also have the shade of the Stringia, which is over there. And this here is the entryway. I'm going to put an archway there. And I don't want to give myself too much work, so we'll just see how we go. But like, I might grow something over the archway this summer, maybe some beans or gourds, and possibly I could even grow something along this fence. But my priority at the moment is just getting these beds ready. I'm going to just do it like gradually over the next few weeks, and my hope is to have it ready by, say, mid-September, ready to plant all of my tomatoes. And back around this way. Oh, look at that sunrise reflecting off all the trees. It's gorgeous. I've been doing a bit more upcycling. So over there, oh, I love those primulas, so pretty, and the calendula. So over there by the greenhouse, you can see that big container. It's actually an old school locker. I don't know, I can't remember if I told you about it in the last video, but I got it for free in a skip, and I've painted it this sky blue colour. And I'm just thinking of some ideas of what to plant in it. I was thinking maybe some dwarf sunflowers. I could also put something trailing over the edge. And then I bought a packet of dwarf zinnias, so I could fill that up too. The only issue with it is that it's actually locked at the moment. And I don't have the key, so I have to try and figure out how to open it up. But I'll get there. Hopefully by next week it will be full of soil, and I'll have a better idea what I'm going to put in. Here are my brassicas, and someone I follow on Instagram suggested I might cover these up. So I put some chicken wire around them, so hopefully whatever got to the other plants won't be able to access them. I'd be pretty upset if my brassicas got dug up and ripped apart. There's the upcycle sand pit or fire pit with the wallflowers that will hopefully look like flames coming out of it. And I've been doing some pruning. There's a big pile there of branches. They're from my 2 apple trees. This one here desperately needs a good prune. I didn't get much of a harvest off it this year, so hopefully with some proper cutting back I'll get a much bigger crop. And over here I was doing some weeding in this section yesterday evening, and I found one of my radishes, my watermelon radishes that I put in here looked big enough to harvest. So I'm actually going to go and pull it out now to show you what it looks like. So I think it must have been about 2 months ago or so that I put some seeds in here, and the one that's ready to harvest is just down there. You can see it popping out off the ground, and I'm really excited to show you this one. So this one here, the watermelon radish, is actually an heirloom radish from China. I'll put up the proper Chinese name. Oh, look at that. And that looks all right. There's a little bit of damage there, but it's okay. I'll open it up now and we'll have a look. Whoops. So this is a bit disappointing. I actually went online on the internet to try and get an answer for you, but I can't find one. It's actually meant to have like a vivid red colour on the inside, and that's why it's given the name a watermelon radish. But it doesn't seem to be the case here with this one. And I can't find an explanation on Google. So if any of you have experience with growing these before, and you know what's happened to this one, I'd really appreciate you letting me know. Yeah, I wonder what's going on. I'm over here by the lemon tree. I actually picked quite a few off this week, but it looks like I hardly made a dent on them. And beside the lemon tree I have some peas which are growing down here. These are called Shiras peas and they're from the seed company Mr. Fothergill. I'll put the name up on the screen. And I just love everything about these plants. The pretty little flowers and these gorgeous looking pods, which are just so good for you. They're full of antioxidants. And I reckon by next week's video I'll have enough to harvest, because they're starting to get quite large now. And you can actually eat the entire pod and the peas together when you pick them young. So we'll be back here next week to do a bit of a harvest. I have one last thing to show you before I head inside, and it's under here, under the orange tree. It's this rocker. It's an old toy, the caterpillar rocker, which I have upcycled. So as some of you may know, I have 3 children and my youngest is heading off to school next year, and I've got a lot of toys like this, and some of them just aren't in good enough condition to donate or give away to someone. So in this instance what I did was I just cut out the top section of the toy, and that plastic that I cut out I will reuse in the garden. I'm going to use as labels probably for my tomatoes, and I popped this planter in here with a couple of pansies. So these are a gorgeous vibrant purple pansy, and I'm looking forward to seeing it filling out in a few months time. I think it will make a really nice garden feature. Well, it's time to head inside, and thank you so much for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next week.